Hello, welcome back. Again, doing Steam games in alphabetical order. It's 238,197. Some of that's DLC demos. There's actually only 146,208 games, which I don't understand because last week there was 170,000 games thereabout. But they've been cracking down on not safe for work games. But Cards of Gluttony, that's a not safe for work game, so I don't know. That's still around. And some of these games don't actually exist, they're just placeholders. And there's games that are just ultimately scams. My next video will probably show one scam artist and how many games he has, which are all scams. Steam doesn't seem to do anything about it. They haven't done anything about it since 2017 with this one developer. And none of these games work. But I wanted to show this one. The bundles don't seem to appear anymore. I wanted to show this one, Kiko Apple Adventure. I bought it on the bundle. I recommend this one. Absolutely at 100%, even full price. It's very clever puzzle. It's based on sokoban puzzles. Mum, it's going to be annual Apple Festival soon. And I like the visuals. Exactly. We are going to make the biggest apple pie ever this time. Yay! We need many, many apples. Leave it to me. So you only have to collect 50 apples to find the ending. There's 70 apples all up to collect. But collecting 70 won't actually do anything. Morning, Kiko. I am going to put a huge apple pie here. To make the pie, go collect apples, basically. So we're just going to... You can boop your nose. You can do all sorts of things here. So let's do the first puzzle. Let's see what it is. So sokobon puzzle is basically you've got to move an item to a certain area. In this way, it's apple to raft, and you collect the apple. And in the top right, you can see I have one apple. So I need 49 more apples in order to make the apple pie, which games with cakes like Portal, Cake is a Lie. The Princess Peach and her baking for Mario. It works. This game isn't perfect, but it does a lot of things right. So here we sort of showing the more sophistication method of we actually have to get this apple on this raft. So we have to move a couple places the raft in order to get it on, and we have our second apple. Now this is going to take 1 hour for me to get through, so keep that in mind. I was able to do all 49 puzzles without needing a walkthrough, but one puzzle I just did my head in and needed a walkthrough. But if you want to buy it and try and solve it yourself, that's the enjoyment, go for it. But if you don't care about these, if you don't have the brain for this, just grab some popcorn, enjoy the ride, and I'll explain the puzzles as best as I can. Now we're given the fact of that we need two here. So we need to set up the rafts. As you can see, I can't get that raft out. So I need to actually go onto the top there area so that I can push and then bring this raft out of that closing, but I can't connect, so I'm going to have to push that first. And as you can see, there's a little bit of moving around everywhere, but that's how you solve that puzzle. So 5 apples, and as you can see, the puzzles are getting more and more sophisticated. Again, 2 apples. Sometimes I need to stop and think about what I'm actually doing here. Because you don't want to block yourself in. That's basically where you can go wrong. So I move that apple and then move that apple, and I don't get to block myself in. 1, 5. Again, 2 apples. Again, it's very easy to block yourself in if you push your apple to an area where you can't move it, you can't get behind it, then you become really, really stuck. So again, I'm going to need to... Now, I can't actually move those two apples together on the raft because I would block... I've actually moved too far. Hang on. Can I rectify this? You can actually go backwards by pressing the Z button, so that if you do make a mistake, you can just press Z without needing to reset. And again, that's a great vision of the developer understanding that sometimes we make an error and we don't want to have to do the whole puzzle again just because we make an error. So you can just move back from the error that you made. I'm trying to work out how I need to do this. There we go. That's it. And then bring that in and then drop this down. And then push that one up. Okay. 1-6. And what a lot of developers make a big problem of is puzzle progression. There should be some clear, fluid reasoning why there's a progression in learning. Like you need to be, where some developers it's all over the place. Like some of the hardest puzzles are at the beginning of the game, and later on puzzles aren't so hard because the developer's running out of ideas. This is not the case here. The case is the developer does make a good progression. As you can see, that was quite complicated, needing to move the platforms around in order to get the apple onto the raft. Now, each time you talk to one, and we're given a second mechanic, basically that a shark comes and towards us when we're in a line. Like, why a shark? I'm not sure, but yeah. Basically, if you're in the same line as a shark, he will come and destroy your raft or eat you, basically. Now, one problem is there isn't really any edutainment here. So, what I mean by that is there's no education. I thought that each land could have added a different apple to the cake, apple pie. And we could have learnt a little bit about apples, like Johnny Smith's or Golden Delicious, or something along those lines, in order to bake the most beautiful cake. That doesn't happen at all. So here I'm just showing you basically what happens when a shark comes into your way. Let's restart that. That's not how you solve that puzzle, but that just goes to show you what happens. So what we need to do is get this shark out of our way so we can basically just move it on like that. The second fault I think of this game is it could have had a little bit more humour into the game. Again, the apple, one of the characters could have said the apple pie is a lie or something along those lines. Princess Peach could have come and said she's jealous or something. Or GLaDOS could appear with a portal needing to take a cake for recipes, or something could have played along those lines. But again, the developer doesn't do that. There's very, very limited humour in this. The character is cute, makes a lot of great noises. The boobing, like yay, yo, ho, hey, how, yay. Yeah, it's cute, but again, it's short-lived. I think there could be. Actually, have I stuffed myself up here? I've got to go back. I've got to bring this one down here. That's what. So again, with so many puzzles too, now we have two sharks to deal with, so that we have to, sort them out in the right position so we can get Apple onto the raft. The other part that is a bit random. Like we have sharks. What's sharks got to do with Kiko the bear? Later on, we're introduced to moles. I think it is a mole or a gopher. What has that got to do with anything? But I guess these are enemies. And now we're introduced to a whirlpool mechanic. So each land you go to, there's 6 of them. Each one introduces you to a different obstacle to contend with. So here we basically just have to play around until we get to the next one. This is actually quite hard. It's easy to sort of, we want to bring it down here. Now we're safe and we can grab the apple. Kiko! The other thing is, I always wanted, I would have loved if there was a sort of a, this puzzle, you actually have to move the apple. It's the only way of solving this puzzle. I thought it was ingenious because it took me a long while. I was like, where can I move this silly shark? The only way of moving it is where the place where the apple is. So sort of teaches you different mechanics like that to outsmart the dev. This was a very hard puzzle as well. What it's teaching you is the apple blocks your sight from the shark. So the shark's not going to move. So I'm actually moving that one up to get it into the right position. Okay. I'm going to get the raft into the right position. I can't move over because if I move over, the shark's going to, destroy. So now what I actually have to do is, let me work this one out. Some of them take a little bit of pre-planning. I think I'm going to move this over here for some reason. There. That's going to... No. I'll move that one down. I gotta move this one actually. But if I move that one, the shark's going to... I think I've stuffed myself up. Let's try this. Oh, that didn't work. Ah, there we go. I can see how clever. You can easily get flustered very quickly in this game. And some of the people, like, I gotta reach this person. Oh, you found it in an apple day keeps the shark away. I would have much preferred if there was a bit more humour into it. Some of the humour doesn't make any sense. This is done by a Chinese developer. I think from... I'm not actually sure where this developer is from. I think from China. But he identifies himself legitimately. He's got 2 games at the moment, both sokobon. He prides himself in trying to come up with unique ways of improving the original sokobon game into playful sort of premises. So now we're given a new mechanic where we, of course, push grass bits into the water and create more landmass for ourselves. Again, we're up to island number 3. I'm not sure how many apples we've collected already. And all we have to do is move this. There we go. How many apples have we done? 22. So again, 50 to get to the ending. 70 is total mass all up. I will show you the whole 70, how to solve them all. Some of these puzzles really did take me some time in order to work them out, especially the later ones. They get more complicated. The other problem with this game is that I thought what would have been great is if all the things that we've learned culminate in a big adventure to get, some special ingredient. That never happens. So all the puzzle elements are only introduced mainly for that particular island. We don't culminate all our learning knowledge into one big, area. Which the other sokobon game, which is by another developer in the bundle, he actually does that. He culminates everything to get to a special area. So you're using all the knowledge that you've collected over the entire game on one big adventure, which is quite complicated. Both games are really, really good and worth it. This one was a bit more easier than the other game. The other game's a little bit more complicated in the same bundle, but I highly recommend the bundle. Definitely worth full price. You're definitely going to get your money's worth out of the game. So in this one, we're basically just need to build the bridge. As you can see, I have to move things in order to get there. And there we go. Now we move the raft and we push the apple back. And now we move it down. For such a small puzzle area, the puzzles are really good. Oh, this one is so hard. This one took me ages to work out what was going on. So what you need to do is you need to sort of use that raft to create to push these land masses from a distance. Now what you need to do is keep one of the land masses on top of the other landmass in order to move it and connect it. That's the only way of solving this, and then you got the ability to push it onto the raft. Wow, was that hard to work out. So we're getting quite well done, well through this. We're now up to, I'm just going to talk to this one. Hey, you found Tronstad. Don't sleep under an apple tree or you'll get hit on the head by an apple. That's what I was going to say, is that I would have loved to know where Kiko comes. This is a fast travel, which it's really nice that the developer appreciates gamers are limited in time and need to, and has these nice things such as fast travel. Not really needed in this game, but it's nice that the developer added it, nevertheless. I would have loved to know the history or the inspiration behind Kiko, because there's a lot of games where the character is Kiko, but it doesn't seem to be the inspiration behind this character's name being Kiko. Originally, Kiko was a sheep. Believe it or not. I'm not sure why. That kind of surprises me. But Kiko was definitely a sheep. Sorry, I've got to try and work out what I'm doing here as well. I think I gotta move it over there for some reason. Move this one down maybe, and there. That's it. That would have worked it. Okay. Now I gotta get one. I gotta get these so they're connected. Okay. So now I should be able to do it. I gotta move back and then move. Yes. Move back. Okay. There we go. And move this one over and down. There we go. Very complicated, that one. And they get harder and harder. Apple Land 4 adds another really hard mechanic, and Apple Land 5 adds another hard mechanic. The sharks can be quite hard to deal with as well in some of these levels. Again, not much area, but you can make a lot of mistakes in this one. So this one is basically the fact that the apple will block the sight of the shark, or that you can push it on without it affecting. So I'll show that in a sec. So I'm going to move that over, move that down, and even though the shark's over here, it's not going to ruin because the shark's not interested in the apple, only interested in the bear. I was going to say human, but yeah. So this, you actually have to block off the shark completely. So again, moving that. Once you've blocked off the shark completely, it's simple to pass this one. And again, at the end of the video, I'll show you the prototype, I guess, the original inspiration. I'll show you the developer. The developer is a very interesting character, creating automatons using cardboard, creating motion sensor games or things to do on your computer. And I love the fact that this developer has embraced the sokobon niche and wants to improve on that particular type of game style. So again, we got to move this over, create a little bit of a landmass down here so that we can get around. And then move the rafts up, and that basically solves the entire puzzle. So move that there, and then move this, and now we can get around the apple and push the apple up. Boop the apple. There we go. So how many have we done now? We've done 31. We're getting there pretty fast. And the music is fantastic. The choice of music style, again, I didn't plan that right, and the rough got eaten immediately. So it's very easy to make mistakes here. So this one is exactly the same as the last puzzle, but you have to solve it in a different way because it's slightly different. So again, that interesting concept of making the puzzle elements slightly different. So that's the way you create that certain landmass. Get the shark down here, it's not going to really matter. Again, push the apple down enough, and nice. Hang on, what have I done wrong? Oh, silly me. Don't need to, just need to push it up. Yep, silly. And yeah, so that's great. And the sound effects, like yeah, oh yeah, and the music always puts me in a happy mood. It never got repetitive, even though it's the same repetitive type of song. As I said, this developer has created 2 games. One apple planet. This shows us a landmass on a whirlpool will block the whirlpool. So again, adding to that mechanic. So the other one is Apple Planner. I have put it down on my wish list. I was so enthralled with this game. Definitely will buy more to encourage the developer. I want to see more on how this developer improves sokobon. Very impressed with their vision so far. Very creative person. Again, showing the need to block a whirlpool so that you don't get sucked into it. And now this one, we need to complete the loop. And this one was really confusing at first. So what we need to do again is block one of the whirlpools. I'm going to block this one down here. And I'm going to just move the apple so that I can actually push this landmass on. And now what that allows me to do is block the precession with my raft to create a loop. Now to create the loop, I move that up forward. Now I've got enough of a loop to bring around. So you can see how some of the puzzles are very complicated now. Where are we? We're 35 apples. And all these characters are going to come at the end, but they don't really have anything great to add. I would have loved if they added a lot more. Now we're introduced to the gopher. Oh my goodness, the gopher. So the gopher's made a few holes there. You go in one hole, come out the other. And what we need to do is bring the raft down. So I can't. Sometimes I forget the raft is the most easiest mechanic. Go back in the gopher hole and you can come through. Okay. Now, this is really difficult. You actually got to go behind to set the apple to go forward. You got to think backwards to order to pass it. 4, 3. Now we've got 2 apples to contend with. Both of these are in bad positions actually. I'm gonna have to move both of those apples, so I can't move that apple there, so I'm gonna have to connect the rafts by the looks. Alright. I can move the apple up into a better position, but I can't collect the raft. Alright, let's move this one. And now let's move this raft. And this will allow me to now move that one onto that. And move that one onto that. There we go. Well, some of these I have to stop and think, even though I've played this before. This one was... I think you have to move it to there for some reason. I need to move that apple up. So if I go up on the whirlpool, I can now move that apple into the hole. And that will allow it into an area where I can push it properly. I'm going to have to move this down. And then move it over here. And then, there we go. That's it. We go in the hole. There we go. There we go. So about halfway through the game now. Oh, this one. I think this one again. There was only really one way of stopping this. I've got to push the apple up so that I can push the apple back down. I need to go in there to move the raft down. And now re-go through this all. Now push the apple through. Again, the apple's going to block the shark, so that's not going to matter, and I just push it on. There we go. $41 apples, nearly there. This one we needed to create a blockage. I need to push the landmass into there to create the bridge so I can get to the raft, that's it. Then bring the raft over. Now, to get that, I need to push that up near to the raft, go through the hole, and then push that on. There we go. Oh, no, it's still not. Oh, now we're introduced to the gophers. There we go. The gopher will turn into a hole once, and don't forget you can move the raft down. That took me ages to work that out. I forgot you can move the raft. Oh, it's a groundhog. Okay. Oh, all of these are actually quite tricky to work out. So on this one, you need to move. I need to move that to create a hole there. So you got to move the groundhog to an area where, because the groundhog will actually go wherever the apple is. With that in mind, I have to move that groundhog, I think. That should work. Okay. Why am I going? There we go. Alright. There we go. Even though the groundhog ate the apple, I still got through that one because... you want to make sure the apple isn't in the pathway of the groundhog because he will eat it. Having said that, now I need to make the apple in the pathway of the groundhog to get him out of the hole. Once he's out of the hole, I need to push him into an area where he's not going to be an issue anymore. I'm going to actually push him over here. Now I can push the apple. There we go. 45 apples, 5 to go. Oh, you immediately have to block the pathway because he is going to eat that apple. And if a gopher eats, groundhog eats the apple, you're done for. So I need to block the... now I need to create a land bridge in that far left corner to be able to get behind the apple to push it on where the raft. To do that, I need to make the groundhog create another hole. Okay, so to do that, what I'm going to do is get behind the groundhog, make sure he turns here. Okay, and I want to push the groundhog back away, get him out of the way. There he is, he's in the corner, no problems anymore. Now I can deal with this thing. So now I'm pushing the landmass out and I'm filling in that corner. Now I've got the corner, I can get behind the apple and move it. So see how it gets really complicated now? This one you need to control the groundhog while he's on the raft. So to explain that, I'm going to move it first. Now I push him back on and then control him down there. And boom, done. Nearly there. This one is a pain. You're going to have to push this apple up out of the way. Bring this apple so you're getting that. Now we want to bring him over so that he brings the raft up here. Again, push him over that way. We need to get him off that raft. Okay, so we've got him off that raft now. I need to get the apple on the raft that way. There we go. 2 more to go. This one is insanely difficult. You want to push the groundhog on the left-hand side, because if you push him onto the right-hand side, he is going to eventually have a funny feeling of stuff this. There we go. There we go. There we go. Now he's gone on the inside. That will do it. If we plant the apple. So, some of these, I gotta push the landmass back on there. I'm just gonna get this thing out of the way, because you gotta use the landmass to. There we go. Now I can block the pathway. He's not going to eat the apple. There we go. Right, now we eventually got there. Now we push the apple in. The groundhog isn't going to chase after the apple. And now we can push that onto the lemons. I'm sure there might be an easier way, but that one worked. Okay, 1 more to go. This one is quite difficult as well. Again, it's all got to do about blocking. So we want to push this apple all over here, cover the ground hole. It's important that we smash that and then we try and get it away. Oh yeah, stuffed up there. I realised what I've done wrong. Not perfect. Okay, this one should do it. Move the apple like that. Move that down. Here we go. Did I just do it again? Sorry about this. I did that again wrong. Alright. I want to get him out. Okay, push that apple there. There's a lot to remember. I'm just going to... There we go. There we go. Come out and then go. There we go. Got it now. This time it's going to work. Here we go. Pushing the landmass back into the hole to bring it down the bottom. There. This is awesome. Right, there we go. I need to bring that one over. And then I need to use the raft in order to block so I can... Oh, hang on. How do I do that? That's not going to work. I need to move the landmass twice over. Oh, look, I'm sleeping. If I move the landmass twice over, I can then get behind it, I think. How am I going to do that? Yeah, because I can't. I've got to push it onto the raft and then over onto that way and get to the apple. Alright, okay. So to do that, I need to just push this over one. Sorry about this. Now I can get off, come around behind and push it up. Wow, there you go. How complicated is that? I can push the apple. Okay. There we go. Push the apple and done. Whoa. So that's 50 apples. That's how much you will need to bake the cake. But we're going to go for the whole 70. This introduces us to another mechanic, is that the groundhog won't go for any apple if they're of equal distance. We're going to push the gopher up to get him out of the way. This will allow me to get one of the apples on, and then bit complicated, but that's how you solve that puzzle. Alright, 1560, here we go. Wow, when I first saw this, I would have sworn it was impossible. So the whole idea is you gotta how do I do this again? Because I've got to bring it up. I think I got it. Yeah, that's right. I got to push that there first and then move. And I want to put this one of equal distance as well. This allows me to get rid of the apple, one of the apples, because he's not going to go for it either. But I'm just going to get him out of the way. I need to push him upwards now. That's going to push him to the apple. Don't want to do that. Yeah, I need to push him upwards. Alright, so if I push him upwards from here, that should do it. Alright, so we've got one of the apples out of the way. I'm going to push him back up. That gets... Oh. So I move one of the apples into a situation where I could no longer control it. Okay, so I'm going to do that again. Well, I now know what I'm doing. I'm going to push him up. Push this apple. Push him up again. And again. Push this one straight down. Then I've only got the one apple to go. So what seems impossible, you can actually solve. Alright. Nearly there. 5-7, here we go. This one we need to actually destroy one of the rafts to get the shark out of the way. So we actually can't play this as a pacifist. We need to kill a groundhog. All right. There's a lot of maneuvering on this puzzle. Gotta get that groundhog off. I'm gonna just play leapfrog and I should be able to solve this. And then push it down one and then bring the rafts up and yep, there we go. And that's this line done. Now we're coming across the hardest land. This one. So now we're introduced to the mechanic where if you step on an ice sheet it disappears. Not just for you, for whatever walks on that ice sheet will disappear. Six two. Again, just need to. The game can teach you is that you need to walk onto an ice sheet and then walk back onto the raft, and you can solve the puzzle that way. For this one, if I go up the top here and walk on it and then bring the raft down, it allows me to move into a position where I can push the apple on. This one here I needed a walkthrough for. It was so difficult. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Again, it's about walking onto an ice sheet and walking off the ice sheet and positioning the two rafts so that you can travel between them. So I'm going to need to move the apple up so I can move the raft into a position which is favourable. I'm going to have to move this, move that. Now I can actually just go bang bang bang. I made that look a lot easier than it is. I cannot express I needed a walkthrough for that one. So we've got 9 more to go. I'm not sure what these... just need to position myself. Hang on while I think this through. Need to move that there, and that will solve the issue. Okay. Move that. Move that down. There we go. Got there eventually. Okay, here we go. Six, 4. I guess to some degree there is a progression. Like there's the sheet, there's the shark in this one, etc. But it doesn't culminate everything. Here, all you have to do is move that and then get rid of the ice sheet up the top and then walk around basically. Is how you solve this one. So let's do that. Let's get rid of the ice sheet, move the raft, and then just do a big walk around. A4A, 6-4A. This one was hard to work out. So we're going to have to move that down. We want to bring in this so that we can move this around. Now, there we go. That was a little bit tricky to work out. Okay, 6-5 now. I think we're up to. Oh, this one is a nightmare. Wherever the gopher walks, he's going to disappear as well. So that's the only way I was able to solve that one. I did it very quick. This one wasn't too bad to work out. The one after this, oh, that was hard. That one was a bit intuitive, but the next one is exactly the same, but it adds a little bit of a nightmare. You got two land masses; they're not in good positions. You got the apple on the corner there, which again is a ice sheet which will disappear. So the way I worked out how to solve this one was I needed again push to get to the raft. Once I got to the raft, I then get rid of the top ice sheet, and then I'm pushing the ice sheets in the various locations in order to get. So I'm going to push this ice sheet to the left, and then I collect the apple underneath. So push that there. Travel the raft around. Push this one in, and then move the raft around, and you can solve it that way. So what's coming up on the channel? As I said, probably more Steam games in alphabetical order. About I'll do another 4, but I'm going to expose a scammer as well in that time. Heyday, I think I call themselves Heyday Publishers. Also on the Zombies channel, come across a developer that has 2 free demos, or a free game jam, and a demo version, which is now no longer on Steam. I was able to get my hands on it, and the demo is better than the paid game. Like completely, outrageously better than the paid game. How that works, I don't know. So basically, this is the way to solve this one. So I'll feature those 3 games soon on my other channel. I haven't done anything on the other channel for a while. So this is the end. This is the edge of the world. Hi Kiko! You've reached the edge of the map. You must have had a wonderful adventure. No matter how far you go, never forget why you started. Apple pie! And as you can see, we got 70, so we've solved every puzzle. We've got all the apple pies. Hopefully the walkthrough has helped you if you've purchased the game. You'll probably forget. So if you've watched it, challenge yourself. Go buy the game and see if you can do the whole game. You'll probably get stuck on a few. You've always got this walkthrough to help you out. After this, we'll have a look at the developer. As I said, he's seems like quite a good guy, to be honest. And I like how the travel back involves all the things we've learnt to get back. That's cool. I do like that. But I thought there could have been more edutainment, a bit more humour, and a big culmination with all the things learnt to get a very specialised ingredient to the apple pie. A little bit lacklustre in the apple pie. It didn't even look like an apple pie. It looked more like a cherry pie. There's all the apples, and apple pie! Yay! That's it. That's the conclusion of the game. Level designer is Chow Kai. Sorry if I butchered your name there, buddy. That's the guy's name. He's had a lot of people help him out. This is his second game. Definitely Chinese. Does seem to understand English quite well. I really love the fact that he's just put lovable elements. He's made sokoban a little bit more interesting and given it a whole new feel. And I'm looking forward to his next. So this is a guy. He's from Finland, even though he's probably Chinese. And there he is. This is the guy you're supporting. Go support him. I recommend it. And this isn't a paid advertisement or anything. I bought his game. I just thoroughly enjoyed it. This is his blog. He talks about he was the founder of the company Paw Games, which he uses. He's made 2 games, Animal Planner in 2023 and Kiko's Apple Adventure in 2025. He used to be part of the dev team for Genshin Impact. Interesting. Wow. That's a portfolio in itself. And then he worked for a company called Lilith Games. It doesn't look like that one made anything. He made this prototype called Tiny Islands. I don't know if it was a game jam, but basically it was a lot of tiny islands where you had to solve different mini puzzles on each island. Often involved, matching statues with the correct hats or something along those lines. He was just looking at curiosity, what makes a player want to explore a game more. So again, scarecrows with hats, pushing items onto the correct squares, those sorts of things. So it looks interesting. These are all the games that he's made, quite a lot. If you have a look at this, Sheep Ship Delivery is a prototype of Kiko. So Kiko was a sheep, and this is what it originally looked like. You just moved the box and you pushed it in. And somehow it went from this really crude, yucky sheep sokoban to Kiko, the Apple Adventure that we saw, which is lovable, cute, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and it made me want to buy whatever this developer produces out next. I would just buy it. So you can see the I think this level was in the game. It was on level 1 or island 1.
持ってこなくてよかった。しまったな。
And these are the automatons that the guy makes out of cardboard. So here we have 2 dueling pistols running around. It's just made out of cardboard. And he enjoys making these sort of things. This is one where mother slaps a child. This is based on a meme, apparently. And this is a motion sensor thing. So he plays these motion sensor games. Here you can make a cloud on your desktop, sort of go around. You can make it rain by opening up your hand. Must be used in the webcam, I think. And here you can control a face to smile, to wink, to eyebrows to go up, and everything else. So you can see how this guy's having a lot of fun on his creating various things. This was the original bundle. So go out, buy it. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.